Hi, it's Stu with this week's Next Gen latest video a day earlier because tomorrow I'm getting my hair cut. And yes, I know I can feel you all sort of quizzically looking at me thinking, I'm sure that doesn't take that long for you to get your hair cut. And you'd be right, it doesn't, because there ain't that much there. Anyway, moving on with this week's video. Now, I performed a small experiment the other day asking a couple of people I knew who had lives, unlike me, who had proper jobs, unlike me, and who had wives, husbands, families, unlike me. But do cats and looking after an 81-year-old mother / teenager count? Now, anyone looking after an old parent will know exactly what I mean about the teenager comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, moving on. The experiment was, when do you think, and this is what I asked him, when do you think the next PlayStation Xbox will come out, and would you be interested? Now, these folk, they like games, they're sort of casual players, and once again, unlike me, had other things to do rather than sticking their heads into some digital netherworld. Now again, they had lives. Yeah, I know, I'm sad. Or as Alan Partridge would say, sad. I'm not very good at that. But if you're in America, I would thoroughly recommend that you do yourselves a favor and look up who Alan Partridge is. I'm sure you'd like it. Anyway, the resounding answer I got from these people was, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't know, a couple of years, and I'm not sure I'd buy it though. So having resisted the urge to slap them around the face with a copy of The Last of Us and not lecture them on announcements, rumour and excitement, I was left wondering that most people really are not that bothered or know about next-gen launches this year. Perhaps then it's because, yes, they have lives, but many people lead busy lives and are still interested. And it dawned on me then that this round of next-gen consoles, much like those before it, on launch will be more for the nerds like me and, yes, you, and the very lucky and probably very spoiled Johnny and Jenny who want the very latest for Christmas, and they want it now. Now, it also begs the question that Sony and Microsoft will have a much harder job justifying these new consoles out of the, say, keen gamer like you and I that follow the market. So what then are they going to sort of sell the systems on? Now, this is the sort of first next gen where graphically and gameplay to the uninformed may not look that different, and certainly not that different, or certainly not $500 different. It does make you wonder what they're going to try and sell it on to the sort of non-gamer person that's going to buy it for their kids, for instance. I'll leave that with you. Anyway, talking of $500, it seems that Sony are having a hard time keeping the cost of the PS5 down. Now, apparently this is due to the cost of many of the components and those increasing due to demand. Now, costs of some components may of course be increasing because of global demand, but what I do find odd though is, much like any market where production price is key, there is usually some form of futures contract involved, much like the futures financial commodity markets, which is there pretty much to protect from such things like this, from commercial price volatility. Now, a price is agreed at a future date of delivery to enable production and price targets to be maintained. Now, I find it odd that this hasn't been put in place, or perhaps it just simply wasn't possible, but it is odd nonetheless. There is also rumour suggesting that the PS5 cooling system is quite elaborate and cost a few dollars. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, a few dollars? Perhaps that's like $30, $40. No. Previous cooling on prior systems, believe it or not, have cost less than $1. The PS5 cooling system is breaking the bank at around about $3. Whoop-de-doo. Yet, when production price, profit tolerances and margins are so small, I guess every penny quite literally counts. So, you remember when everyone was getting excited about the PS5 dev kits, with there being mixed bag of love and hate for the design? Then emotions were somewhat tempered down with the realization that the dev kits rarely, if ever, have ever looked anything like the final design. Well, perhaps, maybe, possibly, not in this case. See what I did there? Anyway, according to rumour, once again, and yes, these could all very likely be fake, but let's run with this for a while, that the PS5 design isn't apparently that far away from the dev kit. Now, once again, a photo has emerged, yeah, I know, of a screenshot showing a PS5 icon, yeah, I know, next to the earlier consoles of this on a Sony web page or website, and the page was later removed apparently. Yeah, I know. What it did show was a striking resemblance to that of the dev kit. Now, could then the PS5 look like the Let's Go digital render we have here, which, you know, if it's anything like this, I'd actually prefer it over the box that is the Xbox Series X. However, as soon as that appeared, there was another that had a different icon similar to one of the other renders, so all very, very likely fake. On the Xbox Series X front, there's nothing huge this last week, aside from confirmation of some of the sort of next gen games coming to next gen. It's worth noting then, if Sony are having problems with keeping the price down, it would then make sense that Microsoft would have sort of much the same issue, unless they have, as have both Sony and Microsoft in the past, taken a loss on the console with a view of making it up in game sales. Now, this works more in Sony's favour than Microsoft, being that Sony have more first-party games, and Microsoft have, let me think, yep, that'll be it, none. It's also worth considering that the Xbox Series X is likely to cost more per component due to it being more powerful, if all the current speculation and rumour is to be believed. There is certainly going to be a price war on, so perhaps we will see some sort of attractive package deals being put together by Sony and Microsoft, maybe a couple of controllers and a couple of games thrown in. That could bump up the profit and be more attractive to those of us that are pretty hungry to buy. Now, as an aside, it is related to gaming, so don't worry. As an aside, I'm looking to start reviewing games. I've kind of dabbled with it before and not really thought I did a good enough job and didn't put the videos up. But thanks to a comment made by a subscriber who suggested that I do it again, or, you know, at least do videos that are reviews, but with a difference. So thanks, Christopher, for that. I'm seriously thinking of doing it. And in this case, the difference is that I'll be reviewing them from sort of an old fart with responsibilities and stuff perspective. So with that in mind, I'll take into consideration how practical the game is with regards to sort of small periods of gameplay, with extended gaps between gameplay, as some of us rarely get the chances to play for extended periods. And it really is easy to forget how the game works. We've all been there where we've sort of, I'll play this game, and then you go to it and you think, Jesus, what button do I press to do what, where and how? And then there's the whole sort of plot thing. You're left wondering what the plot was, what you were doing previously. And the whole feeling of getting back into the flow of a game can be quite difficult with, you know, when you've got life getting in the way and you're returning to the game and you're sort of trying to get into it again. It's very difficult to do that. So this, amongst various other things, I'll take into consideration when I'll sort of start these reviewing games. I'm not sure which or what game it will be, as things are pretty quiet on the moment in terms of new releases. But I am trying to think of what I would call these reviews. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. So anyway, that's it for this week. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like more videos like this and want a good dose of leaks, peeks, news, reviews, guides, how-tos, and getting the best from the tech you already own, then please consider subscribing and clicking the bell. And don't forget to visit the bitsbytesandbobs.com website, where there is also plenty going on there. See you next time.